Good morning. All right. Pullback underway here. So we're going to have a bit of a gap down in the ETFs and whatever stocks are gapping. So always, after the move up and the move down is this buyable, and until proven otherwise, based on the depth of retracement or a failed reversal, we have to assume yes. So as we look at this, right, here's the initial move, here's the continuation pattern, the move up, and as I said earlier in the week, there was nothing to stop it from going higher up there. Of course, resistance can be created where there is none. At times it could have went up here. Right now it stalled, at this point, and it's pulling back. And ideally, right, it's not going to pull back any more than it is now. Right? So the word ideally doesn't mean that it's a fact. We're waiting to see if it's actually going to hold in this area. So we looked at this area yesterday. We always look below as a pullback begins and say, where might prices stop going down? And we look to the left and it's not support. It doesn't mean it has to stop exactly there. Right? So here, as it pulled, it came in. Notice the wide range bar, which suggests the end of the move lower. So at this point, it was chopping sideways. We got the wide range bar down, starting the move from this consolidation. At that point, if you remember the conversation, it was, well, maybe it holds here and it goes back up. We don't know. It's forming a trading range, so on and so forth. It attempted to go up and got slapped back down, and down it went. So now it's trending down. Now, it breaks here, which opens up the possibility to think, well, does it go down to the next level? We really don't know. But again, we come back to, can it create support? So how do we progress from there is the question, right? Part of MTS. Does a pivot form? And yes, it formed a pivot, right? PL right there, pivot low. And now as it's retesting that, now we sit and wait. Do buyers show up again to begin to create a new support area? And that's what's happening right now as we speak. That buyers are stepping up at that pivot. You can see here on the 15 and on the 5. It's sloppy. So we need to see an event, as I'll call it. What is an event? Something that proves that buyers have showed up in force. Something similar to this type of reversal. So where this bar started to do that and it came up to the top of the red bar, and we can see there's still about 8 minutes to go, give or take 7.5 minutes in that bar. Still got time to recover and become a green bar and to form a W bottom in this area. And then we see if it begins to turn this day around. Just wait and see. That's all we can do. Right now it's just slop, so we're not doing anything. And we'll look at other markets to see if they're showing any relative strength or weakness that may give us some guidance. But right now, where the buyers are trying to hold this area, they've neutralized the down move, and we just don't know yet. So it's basically a wait and see. This weekly bar, we'll see by the end of the day tomorrow what it looks like. Of course, it's still moving just as this one is. So I want to take a look at SPY to see where that is. It's gapping down to. If you look at the day chart, and let me just switch this over. I put my moving averages I look at on the 5 minute, but I don't like looking at the ETFs with 24-hour time frame. But anyway, just to see where this is trading, I guess I have to. And 343 and a half, 344. But you have to look to see what's over here. And we've got this unfilled gap. That's a reference point of support. So is it, is it any gap down, you look to the left to see what's it gapping into. And we do have this little shelf of support, and we got down below here, which clearly is going to be a stronger reference point since it's got these overlapping bars there. And that would be a stronger reference point. So as this is chopping around, just like the futures, we're waiting to see if they could actually get it turned around. And so as you can see, right, 20 MA turned down, 60 MA turned down, 200 MA turned down. So all of our intraday timeframes are still pointing lower. Prices are stabilizing. It's getting tighter. Sit on your hands and wait. See what's going to happen here. So maybe it just keeps going lower to the next reference point down here at around 341-ish. Right down here, right here. That would be a relatively deep retracement. But now, based on this move up, when they're really strong, they don't pull back this far. They create support. So, based on yesterday's close coming into today, from the bullish point of view, what we really would want to see is maybe a small gap down and then buyers step up and we get the red bar ignored. Clearly, it's down further than that possibly happening. So I think with it moving down toward this level down here, while buyers are they're going to step up in this area or a little bit below. So I think it's going to be a bit erratic as buyers try and hold this area, and we'll see what they can do as far as holding it, and then if they do tomorrow, getting some type of a turnaround. So charts are getting messy again. All right, we got the sell signal the other day, up here, and so that's working that off, and we'll just have to see how the day unfolds. It's a relatively large gap down, and what happened to stimulus hopes and all the other jargon that happens day to day to explain why markets are going up or down. Right? Okay. Gustav, you keep talking like that, we're going to send you back to where you were the last month. All right. I'm joking. All right. Let's continue here. All right. So NASDAQ futures coming in toward the bottom of the wide range bar. What we want to see, right? We have patterns. Our factory work guides us as to what will happen if things stay bullish. And then we go from there to see what does happen. Right? So it's supposed to stay in the upper part of the wide range bar. It was able to accomplish that yesterday, and now it's moving down to the bottom. So as I said earlier, ideally, a small gap down would have been bought, and today, up day, looking for the next continuation pattern. Now, prices are pulling back a little deeper than they would under the bullish scenario. It doesn't mean this move up is finished. It just means that it's not as bullish as it looked like it was. And now a new pattern is going to have to develop, whatever that's going to be, where buyers begin to step up and whether they can get this to be turned around. You can see this is showing a little bit of relative strength. It's not down at that pre-market low like the S&Ps are. Just looking to the left there, there's really nothing of much significance to the left for things to be turning around, but it's created this pivot. So retesting the pivot, turning around, right, that's what we'll be looking for. Or maybe it just keeps going lower. That's the unknown. So until we have something that we recognize, right, a pattern that's forming, we don't know. Right? So this isn't a downtrend. This is a sideways trend, but the immediate part is in an uptrend. right? This is down. This is down. We need to see more information as to what it's going to do here. YM, right, down almost 350, coming closer to that larger support area. And, as I see this pattern forming, and it's a bar that's being created in the moment. It's the beginning of the day. But if this was on the close, right, tomorrow, I'd be looking at, okay, the next day is going to be the turnaround day. I hope it gaps down. But this is not an end of day chart. It's 9:15. So it's the type of pattern right now. It's less likely to turn into a bottoming tail bar. I can, just historically based on patterns, that's less likely to happen. Whereas it's more likely to try and stabilize in this area, maybe go a little further, and then look to make the turnaround. How do I come to that conclusion? Just based on historical chart patterns that look like this. Where do buyers want to step up? Where are they going to be feeling relatively secure in buying? And it's going to be somewhere between this area of these moving averages and where they are right now. So this is down. This is down. It's showing relative weakness. And there's nothing to stop it from going lower. Maybe 28,000, the whole number, that comes into play. And maybe there's some mystery lines in here, that some proprietary stuff that's going on that we really don't give a hoot about. We'll just see where this forms a pivot and where it begins to stabilize, and when and if it begins to turn around. Can we say fiber? Don't know. He goes in YouTube on what I'm talking about here. And in the green room, they're joking. Can they say fiber instead of fibs without getting thrown out of the room? You could say whatever you want, but I might throw you out of the room anyway. I'm all joking. I don't throw anybody out of the room. All right. Russell. So this showed relative strength at that time. It was the weaker, but came off the low like a monster, right? Rallying to the upside. So less damage being done or uncertainty being created by this pullback. And we do the same darn thing. Look to the left. Anything of significance there? Nope. Got a big topping pattern there. It's got a pivot. Can it form a W here? I guess we'll see in a half hour, 45 minutes or so. And we'll see how that plays out. And let's just look at something here, right? Some comments in the room. That's pretty far down. Where's SPX? This is the problem, if you will, about strength. Right? When you get these huge strength moves, these momentum moves, they create voids. And that's the strength and that's the power. But there's little underneath them, and that's the problem. So buyers have to continue to step up after that kind of a move. Otherwise, prices can fall all the way back. And obviously, we've been talking about the weekly chart is questionable. So it still is. Right? On Monday, I mentioned maybe M top. I don't know if that's going to happen, but obviously, if the end of the day tomorrow, if this is a red bar and topping tail, that's going to increase the probability that is what's going to happen. We get closer to this election thing and the uncertainty. Look at crude oil here, right? Rallying, giving it all back. Green, red, green. Patterns that say, be nimble, stay away. Right? Choppy stuff with gold, still trying to get that turnaround, that shakeout more convincingly formed. Silver. same story there in the transports, right? That was the strength. One of the clues, the tells, right? That head and shoulders top being negated and the reversal up. So market's correcting the initial gains. It hasn't completely fallen apart yet, and negated this initial up move. It's pulling back into an area where buyers are going to show up, and we'll see what they can do. And that may have to play out into tomorrow for the real turn. I'm just going back again to see this W that's beginning to form, not a convincing event. Right, this bar turned into a topping tail bar. So we need to see another bar form, right? The longer it stays down here, the more it would suggest it's going to go down to the next support level versus this holding where it created support and turning back up. So need to collect a little more information. So it's a wait and see here for me anyway at the open. All yours, Dan.
All right, good morning. Yeah, no, I think it's kind of an easy, well, other than in managing our opens, that's going to be a priority. We started entering more bear call credit spreads in the weekly, so those obviously are doing better. Put spreads are okay. We got a couple of longs that we'll, manage as we always do. So if anybody has any individual questions on opens, ask me. Like, for example, you know what, this Facebook, remember this disaster? We started with a call spread, led into a condor, stopped out of the call spread, and then yesterday we stopped out of the put spread. But because of those maneuvers, we turned a potential, fairly big loss into a win. So that was nice management. So like we have Zoom put spread for tomorrow. We have Tesla put spread for tomorrow, and they're gapping down, but the put spreads should be fine just because of the expiration is so near. Little Neo here, we sold another put spread for October, way under support. Yeah, just glancing. Dell is down. All right, we'll go through them one by one. Oh yeah, thanks PayPal. Yeah, we entered a couple call spreads yesterday. PayPal, we're in IWM. Look at this little guy, SPAC. 15 bucks, top end of this range. So I put that in the bottom right here. That's not bad at all if it holds. Relative strength pattern. Schwab earnings, sloppy as can be. Have no interest in that. Yeah, look at FSLI up here. I mean, that's pain. That's pain. That's falling off a 30-story building. But we'll see what it does. I'll put it there. FSLI. Cars. Hey, Mark, your drop down. Cars 935. All right, this is a beautiful gapper. I'm gonna put cars here, and I'll put FSLI on my other computer. TSM earnings gapping down under 87. Could be a day trade short. It's had a big run. AA earnings. AA 1165. Bearish gap. It was working on being a fairly nice bottoming pattern. Now it's getting clocked with earnings. Orgo 452, bullish gap. Kind of looks like a bio. It could maybe set up for a day trade. 42 bucks. Bearish gap, but no great pattern. We'll come back to it. Redfin, I think they came out with advanced guidance or something. No pattern. Cisco 39.47. Yeah, could be day trade short, maybe 10-minute low if the market's weak. But I don't know whether to have a long or short bias at the open here, so that's the beauty. We don't need to. We'll just watch and we'll develop a bias. TFC got extended, gapping down 40.80. Still has some room. We'll come back to it. UAL earnings. You know, they're singing the blues, rightfully so. Airlines, what a horrible business they're in right now. Jesus, yeah, we have. Oh, no. The long calls, Jesus, no, we stopped out break even. We stopped out break even right on this little dip, and it's when I didn't like what the market was doing, and it still turned around, and closed with a nice open gain. We have a put spread on, expires tomorrow, but no, we're not in the calls. ARWR, $48. Yeah, it's a bullish gap, maybe 30-minute high for a day trade. Not a swing trade to me. Anthony, if you can change your drop down. TPR for John Newman. It's only, well, it's gapping down a dime. It's actually a very strong move up. It's a weekly bullish 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I'd be if you're, let's see what when y'all don't ask me your question, I'm not sure what it is. So I got to make an assumption. Yeah. See, I thought you wanted to short it. I thought you wanted to short it for being extended and maybe rolling over. And my answer was going to be, it's one of the stronger things out there. I'd be afraid to short it right here. It's holding very well. For a long, it's too extended for me. I need more information. I'd prefer a little downside, bottoming tail, a little continuation pattern. Oh, really, Dave? It's just mind-boggling. The idiots won't fix that. It's just mind-boggling to me. All right, yeah, there's our Zoom put spread. Let me continue. SNBRs gapping up, strong, but no pattern for me. Wins, I don't like the way it trades, no good pattern. TFC, that's, I already looked at that, I think. Yeah, looked at that. WBA, when I looked at my Dow 30, this is the only green Dow stock right now. Every other 29 is red. Gapped up, came in. There's no great pattern on the daily. MS earnings gapping down. It's junk. HOMB 1690. We'll come back to it. Oh, WFC, I read, got in trouble. They seem to be they are not going to get the ethics award of banks. They get in so many ethical problems, so they fired 100 people for being involved in some government. I agree, Rich. Some government, taking advantage, some scam. They were scamming a government program. Anthony Net, yeah, that's on my list here. 55.85. It's a big gap, so we need to see what it's going to do. I would have liked it better if it wasn't gapping as much. Like if it was gapping, let's say to this 15-minute pivot, And then shorting a 10-minute low would have been beautiful. Yeah, Tron, I moved stop 30-minute low on that. I don't like the way this trades at all, John Newman. It's junk. I have no interest in buying or shorting that. It looks like junk. Yeah, pins, I moved stop 30-minute low. There's nothing we can do about it. It's kind of still holding fine in the grand scheme of things. CMC gapping down 2150. Gap's kind of too big for me. What about Tesla? Let's see what strikes we have. We have the 425. So that's fine. That's our Tesla trade right there, Khaled. So look, it's holding right here on, it's a bearish gap, but it's holding right here on support, and 425 is still 25 bucks away. So best case scenario, it holds 30-minute low. Yeah, I like cars, Arun. I have cars and SPAC here, and in these two windows, cars and SPAC. But market is now breaking pre-market support here. Yep, so it's a bearish bias right now unless we get a big old downside shakeout. And what would a downside shakeout look like? I would want to get back over this pivot, at least this prior red bar, this one preferably. So we're just sitting back watching. Go get some more coffee if you need it. Gap's too big. And there's the net. We talked about Roku. Some of these extended things, I just want to watch for call spreads. TTD, we were about to do one yesterday, but it was too spready. Remember, Gustav? We were about to pull the trigger on that. That would have worked beautifully. Zoom just filled the gap. Look at that.